We're mourning the loss of Senator Daniel Inouye, a leader whose lifetime of selfless service to our country has been noted and will be noted forever in our hearts. At the same time, this is an opportunity to build on the remarkable foundation that Senator Inouye laid. It's an opportunity to shape a future for the state of Hawaii. The State Central Committee, many of whom are able to be with us today, I want to say parenthetically how proud I am. What a great moment this is for democracy in our state and in our union. The real, true grassroots representation of the Democratic Party and its values are represented by the folks that are here, and representative of all those who couldn't be here now, here with us in our hearts as a result of their deliberations this morning. The State Central Committee of the Democratic Party is engaged in a thoughtful and deliberative process in forwarding names for consideration of the new senator, a new leader who will continue moving Hawaii forward as well. The charge of the Central Committee was to take all points of view into account, from Senator Inouye and from the rank and file of the Democratic Party grassroots. No one and nothing was preordained. The Central Committee gave it its very best thoughtful analysis and cast their votes. I have informed the leadership of the United States Senate, spoken personally with Senator Reid, the Majority Leader of the United States Senate, that I have appointed Brian Schatz as the next United States Senator from Hawaii. I ask myself these questions. How best do we ensure that Hawaii remains strong in the immediate term with the most capable and well-rounded congressional delegation, Senate and House, representing us in Washington today? And I asked, how best could we ensure that Hawaii remains strong in the long run, rebuilding the seniority of our congressional delegation in Washington? I made this decision with the full confidence that Brian's appointment is in the best interests of the party, the state of Hawaii, and the nation. I mentioned that I spoke to Senator Reid, and I spoke with Esther Kia'aina and with Colleen Hanabusa, both of whom expressed their support for Brian, expressed their gratitude to the Central Committee for their consideration, and both of whom said without hesitation or reservation that they are ready to work with Brian, work with the Democratic Party, work on behalf of the state and the nation, and that we are united here in Hawaii. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Brian Schatz.
Aloha. Aloha. I'm humbled and honored by this opportunity and obligation to serve the people of Hawaii and the people of America. No one can fill Senator Daniel K. Inouye's shoes, but together, all of us, we can try to walk in his footsteps. That means always thinking about what's best for Hawaii, working together, and representing our values and priorities in the nation's capital. And for me in this position, it means the first step on a very long road. The first thing I will do is reach out to Senator-elect Hirono, Congresswoman Hanabusa, and Congresswoman-elect Gabbard, and establish our game plan for the coming Congress. Next, I will be in conversations with Leader Reid's office and other members of the Senate leadership to discuss pending urgent legislation. After that, I will reach out to the White House to continue our discussion about Hawaii's priorities. A critically important part of this process is to effect a smooth transition. I know Senator Inouye's staff very well. They are outstanding public servants, and I am confident that they are ready to help in any way. Tonight, I will leave on a flight to Washington, D.C., I'm not sure when, and will be prepared to be sworn in sometime in the afternoon and begin the work of the Senate on behalf of Hawaii's people. I will bring my wife and 2 children and both of my parents. Over the next year, one of Hawaii's critical priorities is to identify the various federal funding streams that have been coming to Hawaii and stabilize them to the extent possible. I will be in touch with the leadership of Pacific Command, the University of Hawaii, and of course, Governor Abercrombie's administration to remain competitive in terms of federal funds. I have experience with this since one of my areas of responsibility as Lieutenant Governor was to maximize federal resources coming to Hawaii. In terms of public policy priorities, Native Hawaiian recognition remains at the top of the list, and for me personally, I believe global climate change is real and it is the most urgent challenge of our generation. I thank Governor Abercrombie for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. I'm honored and I'm humbled by his trust. To the people of Hawaii, I can assure you this: I will give every fiber of my being to doing a good job for the state of Hawaii. We have a long and perhaps difficult road ahead of us, but we can succeed if we work together. I understand the magnitude of this obligation and this honor, and I won't let you down. Mahalo.
Thank you. No, just stay standing. I was going to ask at this time, and I'm sure I speak for Senator Schatz when I say this, can all the members of the Central Committee who made the recommendations, they please stand. I just want to show you the kind of recognition that you deserve. Thank you so very much. I'm sure we both speak with one voice on this. We couldn't be more proud to be colleagues and friends of those of you who have labored long and sometimes under very difficult circumstances to represent the values of Hawaii and the Democratic Party. We're very, very grateful to you. Now, I suspect that's it, right? There's no questions or observations you want to make. You can sit now. And we'll take holy pictures afterwards too, so don't worry. We'll take as long as necessary on that. Yes. Well, the charge of course, Senator Noy's views and his wishes were taken into account fully. But the charge of the Central Committee, and by extension then myself as governor, was to act in the overall best interests of the party. After all, a Democratic senator be replaced, the state and the nation. And the law makes explicitly clear, as does the rules of the Democratic Party, that while everyone's voice is heard and everyone's view is taken into account, nonetheless, no one and nothing is preordained. And so whatever one's view at a given moment, the Central Committee had the obligation and the responsibility to take everything into account. That's one of the reasons there's 3 names coming forward. And those names came forward, by the way, alphabetically. It was not a concern as to what vote numbers were. What was a concern of everybody's point of view. Everybody in the Central Committee, I can't speak for them, but the process was made explicitly clear to everyone ahead of time, was able to speak on these issues, was able to speak to that particular point of view as expressed by the senator, was able to indicate what they thought both the short-term and long-term interests of the state and party were and cast their votes accordingly. So I am very, very comfortable with the 3 choices that were given. I think if If anybody wants to know whether this democratic process works, it works. I think that was a clear consensus view. I feel very, very comfortable with the choice, and as a result, I think the United States Senate is about to get the value of its newest member, intelligent, forceful, insightful, experienced, and committed.
Governor, did a special election to backfill Representative Hanabusa's seat? Did that come to?
Oh yes, no question about it. The fact that there would have been a special election, I think, is an obligation to take into account as well. Look, everybody has their personal and deeply felt loyalties and preferences. No question about that. Friendships are formed, and it is not unusual at all for people to count on one another in a way that makes those friendships deep and abiding. But nonetheless, you have to take into account as well what is in the overall best interests. And sometimes you have to set aside personal considerations in order to look for the good of the whole. And so the question here of a special election, I think, weighed on the minds of the Central Committee members. You can ask them. But I'm certain that was a real consideration. And I'll tell you something else in terms of personal regard that I had. Maybe it wasn't so much on the minds of some of the pundits or the commentators out there, but there's also the point that now that Senator Akaka has retired and Senator Noy has passed away, that Representative Hanabusa occupies a key position on the Armed Services Committee in the House of Representatives. She's already well on her way to establishing a senior position there on the committee in terms of Democratic appointment, and so it's very vital for us to continue to have that her position on the Armed Services Committee continue. She has an excellent reputation in the House of Representatives. I know that from my contacts with people that I've known for more than 2 decades in the House. She has the confidence of the minority leader and the leadership in the House. And I think as well then that the question of establishing seniority in as many venues as we can with our small delegation is another foremost consideration.
Governor, have you received any messages from Senate President Schatz on whether he would take the mantle for the lieutenant?
Yes, I perhaps should have mentioned that already. The law requires that if the lieutenant governor, the office of the lieutenant governor becomes vacant, that next in line of succession by law is the president of the state senate. Whether or not the president takes the position is a matter of discretion on the part of the Senate president. The law says that he or she has to make a decision promptly. I've looked up the word promptly, and the point here is that Senator Satsui has to consult with colleagues, consult with himself and his family, obviously. So he has it under consideration right now, and I want to give him every opportunity to take into account what he believes is in his best interest, the best interest of the state senate, and the best interests of the state. I certainly hope that he'll make a positive conclusion, but with regard to the lieutenant governorship, I think he's an extraordinarily capable individual. But precisely because he is, that means he can also be of great service wherever he is. So he's got it under consideration right now, and I think what we all have to do is give him a little breathing room here so that he can make his mind up as to what he thinks is best in terms of service to the people of Hawaii.
So, Senator Scott, you're 2 years older than Daniel Inouye was when he became a senator. Aren't you a little old for this position?
There you go.
There's no good answer to that, Wayne. I am honored to serve in this capacity, and I can assure you that if given the opportunity, I'll make Hawaii proud. I'm going to work very hard, and I understand the road ahead is going to be challenging for all of us, but it also is potentially a hopeful time to rebuild as a united congressional delegation.
How do you see, how do you foresee the 2014 and 2016 elections playing out? Do you have a war chest built up already, or?
We'll be running for re-election, and we'll certainly be having moves being made with respect to that shortly, but not today, Andrew. I want to consult with the majority leader tomorrow. We did have a brief chat on the phone this afternoon, and we've agreed to talk again tomorrow. So I want to meet my new Senate colleagues and get a full briefing with respect to how things are moving or not moving, and then I'll be able to provide you with a more informed decision. But I certainly believe that I should talk to the lead negotiators personally before weighing in on that.
Did Harry Reid say that you could be sworn in tomorrow?
Yes,
That's going to happen. You planning to be sworn in?
that's the plan.
Afternoon tomorrow.
That's the plan.
Right. I know you mentioned before the members of the committee that you plan to be on this seat for decades. Is that really how you're feeling?
Well, one thing at a time. But certainly, I certainly do intend to run for election in 2014 and 2016. No doubt about that. I think Hawaii needs to start on a long road, and I'm pleased to be given the opportunity to prove myself.
Silence is assent. Thomas More said that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No.